All right, what I'm going to go over now is how to check setback. This is a measurement that you would often take if you was testing or checking a car that had been in a collision, and you're trying to make sure the car is as much of a square as possible, measuring from each wheel. So I'm going to bring you over here to the alignment machine, and you can see here we have all of our primary adjustable angles on the screen. And what I need to do is I need to go to secondary measurements. So I'm going to bring up my magnifying glass, make additional measurements. All right, and I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to look for setback. It's called symmetry measurements, setback. All right, I'm going to hit OK. It wants my steering wheels pointed straight ahead, so I'm going to move them. All right, that's close enough. It's in the green there, so I'm going to hit ready. All right, so here you can see what our car looks like. It looks like we got a little bit of a front setback over here. This right here shows our track width difference. It's very common to see the front axle to be wider than the back. And then we got a little bit of an axle offset. The front tires are shifted a little bit to the left. Now, if you can see it on the screen, I'm not sure if you can or not, these measurements are given in degrees, which is pretty hard to use that measurement to find out what exactly is off on the car. So I like to get those measurements in actual, as this machine calls it, in distances. So I'm going to click show values as distances. All right, to get that, it wants me to do some things. It wants me to measure the rim width on the front and the back. So I've already done that. You would use a tool. This one right here has the arm is broken. We're going to have to find some way to fix that. But basically, this is like a big caliper, and you take the edges there and touch on the wheel rim, and then as you turn it, it'll actually tell you the width of the wheel. So these wheels on this particular car are 6 inches. So I have got to, this one here is already highlighted, so I'm going to punch in a 6 there, and then I'm going to go to the rear. Some cars will have a different width wheel on the rear and the front. And then it says, enter the distance measured from the face of the target to the edge of the rim. So I've got to get a tape measure and measure that. So let's roll over here where you can see that. All right, so here's the edge that they were talking about measuring to my actual wheel. So I'm going to take this and put this to it, and I'm actually right at 6 inches on that too. All right. So I'm going to come back up here to my alignment machine. Ooh. Sorry about that, folks. It's all adjusted right. All right, so I'm going to go to this block right here, and I'm going to put in 6, and then I'm going to hit OK. All right, so I want to make sure my wheels are straight, which they are. So now I have some actual numbers here. So I can see the wheelbase on this side is 107.8 inches. On this side, it's 108 inches. So we're 0.2 of 0.2 of an inch off, which I can tell you that you're not going to find many perfect cars. The newer the car, usually the more accurate they are. But there's nothing you could do with that. That's as good as you're going to get. Now, this track width difference, that's just the way it's made. There's nothing wrong there. It's just they make the front wider than the back. If I go to this screen, I can see that the front setback, there's a difference of a little over ½ an inch in the two wheels. On this one right here, there's a little bit of a difference of a little less than ½ an inch there. We can see our lateral offset, and we can see our axle offset. So this whole screen right here basically shows me my front axle is shifted over about an inch. Now, if you've got a front wheel drive vehicle, that would be a good indication that the cradle is out of adjustment. A front wheel drive vehicle will have a cradle that will support the engine and transmission. So one of your tasks asks you to check for cradle alignment. And this would be the screen you would go to kind of check that cradle alignment. And I can see that this front axle shifted over almost an inch. So I suspect that we have a little bit of a cradle alignment issue on this car. The front of the cradle needs to go toward the right to bring this car a little bit better. Now, if you're trying to diagnose this setback, that can be a tough one because I don't know if this tire is actually pushed back or if this tire is pushed forward. So what I would do, I'd often look at the car and see if I could find a fender that had some paint on it, like it's been in a wreck or what have you. If I look over here and this fender here shows some paint signs or I see some type of signs of an impact, then I know my problem's on this side, and that's where I need to look for stuff that's bent that has that out. If I see damage repair on that side, then I would go that way. Or if you're doing work for a body shop, just ask them, where was the car hit at? And that would kind of zero you in to find out what's actually bent on the vehicle. But on this screen right here, the main thing that I see that could probably be improved upon is this axle offset over here, almost an inch. This is a front wheel drive vehicle. It doesn't really have a cradle, so to speak, but you can shift some things on it, and it looks like it needs to be shifted to the right just a little bit. All right, so that's how you check symmetry on a car and setback or cradle alignment.